In Lilley, we have around 28 kilometres of coastline, and we are surrounded by waterways, from Kedron Brook to Cabbage Tree Creek to Nudgee Beach and the Sandgate and Brighton foreshores. We want these waterways to be cared for, and we want these waterways to be protected. Our glorious Moreton Bay has more coral than the Caribbean, it has the most southern population of dugongs, and it is easier to access than the Great Barrier Reef, and yet it stands at risk of being taken for granted. The Healthy Land and Water Report Card is an annual study of the health of South East Queensland's waterways. The 2018 report card found that the overall waterways draining into the Moreton Bay were poor due to the high levels of mud and other pollutants that ultimately flow into the bay. This bill is necessary to help combat emissions, stem the growth of sulphur emissions and reduce acid rain, and so I support it. But there is more work to be done to protect our waterways in Lilley, and I will continue to work with our local community groups and organisations to ensure that we achieve our goals together. In Australia, we have ocean-exposed and high-energy sandy beaches stretching for over 10,000 kilometres, covering approximately 49% of the coastline. In my electorate of Lilley, we have approximately 28 kilometres of that coastline, easily the best 28 kilometres. Spilt oil can affect marine organisms via several pathways, such as the physical coating of organisms, penetration and persistence of component petroleum hydrocarbons in the sediments, and the uptake of petroleum hydrocarbons by both plants and animals, leading to both lethal and sublethal toxicity. Impacts to mobile species, such as fish, sharks and marine mammals, are most likely to occur due to the flow-on effects of impacts to their habitat and food sources. However, direct contact with oil can result in direct impacts to the animal due to toxic effects if ingested, damage to lungs when inhaled at the surface, and damage to skin and associated functions such as thermoregulation. Water birds are particularly susceptible to impacts from oil spills, as if the birds come into contact with the oil, the hydrophobic nature of hydrocarbons can cause reduced waterproofing in waterbird plumage, insulation and buoyancy of the plumage if the animal comes into direct contact with spilt fuel. This may cause death due to hypothermia, starvation or exhaustion. The international importance of the wetland areas within our Moreton Bay was recognised with parts of the bay and surrounds being designated as a Ramsar site in 1993. Covering more than 120,000 hectares, the Moreton Bay Ramsar site is extremely varied, ranging from perched freshwater lakes and sedge swamps on the offshore sand islands to intertidal mudflats, marshes, sandflats, coral reefs, seagrass beds and mangroves next to the bay's islands and the mainland. This variety enhances the bay's biological diversity with an overlap of wildlife species normally considered tropical or temperate. The site contains extensive intertidal areas that are valuable for supporting water birds and fauna of conservation significance, as well as providing important nursery conditions for fish and crustaceans. I would like to take this opportunity to note the good and dedicated work of the Sandgate Wildlife Network, who spend their volunteer hours caring for our waterways and its wildlife. And I'd also like to acknowledge the Ocean Crusaders, who are, while based in the electorate of Bowman, do come to the beaches at Brighton and Sandgate when they can assist to help protect our waterways and look after our wildlife, and I thank them too. I want to speak about pollution in Moreton Bay because, like I said earlier, the most recent report card, the report card of 2018, found that the overall waterways draining into the Moreton Bay were poor in their quality, and it was due to mud and other pollutants flowing into the bay. Professor Connolly believes that Moreton Bay will likely deteriorate in the years ahead due to pressures including urbanisation, increase in intense weather events and strong population growth. Lilley constituents are aware of the threats to our beautiful corner of the world, and they dedicate many hours of their time into preserving our environment. I'd like to acknowledge the Keep Sandgate Beautiful Association, the Nudgee Beach Environmental Education Centre, the Boondall Wetlands Environmental Centre, the Northern Catchments Network and the Cabbage Tree Creek Catchment Coordinating Network for their hours and hours of dedicated efforts in keeping our beautiful corner of the earth as clean and as protected as they can. Lilley's younger citizens are also switched on to these dangers and to the issues of climate change and the threat it poses to our environment to our public health and our economy. And they are taking their initiative and they are doing their part, even before they can vote. I congratulate the environmental clubs in schools such as the Sandgate Environment Committee, based out of Sandgate District State High School, the Craigsley State High School Environmental Committee, those at Mount Alvernia College, Mary MacKillop College, Northside Christian College and Wavell State High School, all of whom are currently involved in the 2019 Brisbane City Council's Green Heart School program. Like these Lilley volunteers, I recognise that protecting our environment is something we must act on every day. And today I am supporting this bill as part of our fight to protect what we love.